What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the weekly live stream. So I'm coming to you live. This is the Khan Academy weekly live stream from Scalar Learning. And we're going to continue today with some more Khan Academy problems. Now, right now, I'm just making sure the audio is working as I always do, just from my phone, just checking. It's been muted a few times before, and then it ends up for a big waste of a live stream. So we're good to go. We're rolling. You can see everything's going. Let's do it. And it's a late live stream today, so it's 11 o'clock here on the West Coast. I'm really trying to get on a good schedule. I'm making sure they come to you every Wednesday, but I'm trying to get on a good schedule. If you have any suggestions for optimal times, let me know. Again, it's limited. My availability is limited because of teaching and tutoring, but I'm trying to make it work. Early mornings or late nights are my two options. And by the way, if you guys are enjoying these live streams, you like what you see, you're prepping for the SAT, make sure to subscribe to the channel because I've got so much good SAT prep material on the math section coming to you all the time, every week, new stuff coming out. So I highly recommend you subscribe, show me some love in the comments and the likes. All right, let's jump into it. So we're talking about linear function word problems. Again, level 2. I'm recanvassing all these problem types to get the more difficult ones as requested. Let's jump into it. Maria burns about 600 calories per hour jogging and about 450 calories per hour biking. If Maria spends X hours per day biking, right? X hours per day biking, and 4/5 as much time jogging. So she's spending 4/5 X jogging. Which of the following best models the amount of calories that she burns in one day from jogging and biking? So basically, if you think about it, she spends 600 calories per hour jogging, and 600 burns 600 calories. So 600 calories times the number of 600 is jogging times the number of hours she jogs. X is she spends X days biking and 4/5 X jogging. So here's jogging, X biking. See, they reverse the order, which makes it tricky. So 600 jogging. So we multiply this by 600, and we multiply the biking. She does 450 times the biking. And then she burns in a day. Well, we just add these guys, and that equals C of X. All we got to do now, I can tell by looking at the answers, we just got to simplify. So 450X plus, this is a calculator problem, so you can use a calculator if you want. We multiply these numbers, right? The numbers multiply, not the variables. What is 4/5 of 600? It is, let's see, I can do this, I think, that's 2,400 divided by 5, which is 480, right? 480X equals C of X. And then we combine these two. By the way, as I mentioned before, I don't know if you're new to the channel, I'm always doing these for the first. I haven't seen this problem. I'm doing it live, and that's the way I like it. You get to see my thought process, my approach as I go through, and it's that much more effective. So I'm just stepping through piece by piece, adding these together. This is 930X equals C of X, and that's it. And that should be good to go. All right, question number 2. Michaela walked 9 miles in 3 hours. So 9 miles, let's say, in 3 hours. She walked F miles during the first hour. Okay, we'll split this into 3, I guess. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. She walks F miles during the first hour, and 2/3 of the remaining distance. 2/3 of the remaining distance in the second hour. So here's the second hour, and she does, I'm going to write this like this, 2/3 of the remaining distance. The remaining distance is 9 minus F. Okay, if that doesn't make sense, what I did is the remaining distance, the final distance, if we truck along, first she does F miles, and then this entire bit is 9, so this bit here is 9 minus F. So in that second hour, she only does 2/3 of this remaining distance. Which of the following? So that's how I'm kind of breaking it down. Remember, this is hour 1, 2, and 3. I'm not saying this is the best way to represent it. This is what makes sense to me, but you gotta have a visual way to represent it. That's very important. Which of the following functions best represents the number of miles in the third hour? She had to walk in terms of the number of miles she walked in the first hour. F. Okay. Well, what I can tell you is we can say F, let's do it like this. F plus 2/3 9 minus F. That's the second hour. Plus X. This is our whatever. Well, they do T. So let's do T. Equals all three of these. This is hour 1, hour 2, hour 3. And the total that she walks in all of this. You know what? Let me do... We're talking about miles. And I think this is... Yeah, no, T is the miles, I guess. It's a weird variable. Equals 9. All three of these add up to 9, and we want to isolate T. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's distribute the 2/3. So we get F plus, what's 2/3 of 9? That's 6. This is a non-calculated question, so we got to do it like this. Minus 2/3 F plus T. We're going to combine like terms. F minus 2/3 F. 1/3 F plus 6 plus T equals 9. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Let's move this up here. That goes away. 1/3 F plus T equals 3. And I'm going to subtract 1/3 F. Subtract 1/3 F. T equals 3 minus 1/3 F. So that is our value. And it looks like it's B. Now, if I were doing this for real, I mean, I feel pretty confident, but when it really matters, you want to make sure that makes sense. So I'm going to scroll up and say, oops, I'm going to scroll up here and say, oh, I got to do it like this. Sorry, 3 minus 1/3 F. So this last part is 3 minus 1/3 F. So theoretically, if I add all these, it should add up to 9. So it's like F plus, remember this is 2/3 9 is 6 minus 2/3 F plus 3 minus 1/3 F. So these should all add up to 9. 6 plus 3 is 9. F minus 2/3 F is 1/3 F plus 9 minus 1/3 F. These guys cancel out with each other, right? 1/3 F minus 1/3 F. And we do get 9. So I feel pretty good about this. It's probably right. And it's good. Let's do the next one. The gas tank in Miss Brown's car holds 15 gallons. So here's the gas tank, 15 gallons. At any given time, how many gallons, G, will Miss Brown have to pump into her car to fill her tank given the fraction of the tank, F, already filled? Okay. So this is the fraction already filled. All right. So I think what they're trying to say is we take our fraction, okay, of the tank filled, and we don't want to know, well, how many gallons does that equate to? We take the fraction filled and we multiply it by the total capacity, by the total, which is 15. So F times 15 gives us the number of gallons. Think about it like this. If it says it's one, and if it doesn't make sense, try it out with real numbers. If they're saying it's 1/3 filled, how do we know how many gallons are in it? Well, it's 1/3 times 15, which is 5. That makes sense. So remember, figure out a right operation with some solid numbers and then repeat with your variable. So it's F times the total amount is how many gallons are filled. And then if we need to know how many gallons they'll have to pump, it's literally 15 minus that, right? Because look, in this case, we have 5, so we need 10 gallons to fill it up. 10 to get to 15. How do I do that? 15 minus 5. So you decode what you have to do to solve these problems with concrete numbers, and you get your answer. And G equals 15 minus, oh, they have it as 15F, which is this guy. I just want to see the last one. I always like to look at all the answers. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. There we go. This one is tricky, I think, because I think people get confused that it's a fraction, so it should be over F. I don't know. But that's kind of how it works. Let's do 2 more. Sterling silver is an alloy of silver that is 92.5% pure silver. If X grams of sterling silver are mixed with Y grams of an 88... okay. We got sterling silver. So X grams. So we're talking about... Well, wait, let me... Okay. These equations, when I look at them, I'm not totally sure what's going on, but here's what I'm saying. We know that we're trying to get a 91% silver alloy by combining a certain number of grams of this. And what am I doing? Why am I multiplying the percentage times the grams? Because I'm trying to represent the actual amount of silver in this. So if I have like 10 grams of sterling, 92.5% of that is pure silver. So 92.5% of 10 is 9.25. How do I get that? I'm multiplying the decimal of the percentage times the total number of grams. So this is telling me how much silver is there. Then I'm adding it to a certain, then I'm adding it to a certain amount of silver in this other guy, in Y. How much silver is there in Y? 88%. So I multiply by 0.88 to produce, all right, a 91% silver alloy. 91%, but that's not the full story. What about the mass? We're talking about the total amount of silver that's going to be there. It's going to be 91%. The number of grams, do we know that? Not exactly, but we know it's got to be the combination of this many grams plus this many grams. And there's our full equation. Now, all right, that's what I thought. Now, this equation that I just drew out isn't there. This one's the closest, and you might be tempted to pick this. It's not x times y, though. That doesn't make any sense. This one doesn't make any sense because there's no value over here. A and B seem totally crazy. It's actually one of them, and I'm going to show you how to figure out. I've seen this type of a problem before on these practice problems. What they've done is they've now tried to simplify. Look what's common between both of these. They're equal to 0. So that's your hint that I've eliminated these two. These guys are equal to 0. Well, how do I, maybe can we get this equal to 0, and let's see what it is. So first I'm going to say 0.925x 0.88y equals 0.91x distributive property plus 0.91y. Let's get both of these over here. So I'm going to subtract this from both sides. And I'm going to subtract this from both sides. And we get, this becomes 0.0. This is a calculator, so use a calculator. But I can settle this 0.015x, right? And this becomes negative minus 0.03y. And these guys go to 0 because I'm subtracting by that much. There's our answer. Which one is the right one? It's this crazy one, which it seems so counterintuitive. You would never predict that would be the answer, but it in fact is our answer. All right. Finally, let's go on to question number 5. A roller coaster is currently traveling at a speed of 49 miles per hour. The coaster speed will increase at a constant rate, so it's going at 49 mph. It increases at a constant rate of 17, so plus 17 every 2 seconds, until the coaster reaches its top speed in 5 seconds. If t is less than or equal to 5, which function best represents the roller coaster speed in miles per hour t seconds from now? So every 2 seconds it's going up. So we're at 49. We know we're starting at 49. And let me see. All these choices probably have that. Yeah, they do. No, they don't. Look, C and D are out. The constant needs to be at 49, not 49t. So C and D are out. We're already down to A or B. And the question is it 8.5t or 17 times t? Here, if you're not sure, think about it like this. As t goes up by 2, we're going up by 17. It doesn't make sense to multiply 17 times t, because that would mean every time t goes up by 1, our value is going up by 17. And we could figure it out if we plugged in 1 for t, 17, 2 for t, 34. So every time it's incrementing by 1, we're jumping by 17. That's not right. So let's jump for 17 every 2 seconds. So how do we combat that? We just divide this guy by 2. So what does that now relate to? Well, what's 17 divided by 2? It's 8.5t. So this is our answer. They put it in decimal format. It is calculator, so you can actually use a calculator and figure that out if you're unsure. All right. That is it for today's week, or for this week's live stream. I hope that was helpful. I know these word problems, they're so heavy and dense on the SAT nowadays. It really takes a lot of effort and practice to unwind them and to get comfortable with them. I actually am not a fan. I never have been a fan of word problems, but I practice them so much. I do them so often that they start to feel a lot more comfortable for me. So I highly recommend that you put in the time, watch the videos, practice on Khan Academy. It's all free, and that's where you're going to get the best content for any of this stuff. Thank you guys so much for joining. Again, if you like this video, make sure to like it, please. That would be great. Comments would be awesome too if you have questions. And definitely make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this every week. We also got math music videos coming out. The podcast is all getting uploaded to iTunes as well. We've got some amazing things coming out soon. Interview with James Grime, an amazing mathematician, often featured on Numberphile. So definitely subscribe if you like what you saw. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Take it easy.